I'm William Evans, and this is RwandaTV News in English, but first, the headlines. Rwanda has welcomed the declaration of principles between the government of DRC and AFC/M23, while partners in health promise a stronger focus on bringing healthcare closer to the people and improving the hospitals they support in the coming years. On the international scene, London's Metropolitan Police says they've arrested 55 people under anti-terrorism law at a demonstration in support of the banned group Palestine Action in the British capital. Of course, welcome and thank you for always joining me for RwandaTV News. This is the news in details. Rwanda has welcomed the declaration of principles between the government of DRC and AFC/M23 in a statement saying the government of Rwanda welcomes today's signing in Doha of the declaration of principles between the representatives of the government of the Democratic Republic of Congo and the representatives of AFC/M23 in support of a pathway to a comprehensive peace agreement facilitated by the state of Qatar, following last month's signing of the peace agreement between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo and efforts of the African-led initiatives. Today's declaration in Doha is a significant step forward towards a peaceful resolution of conflict in eastern DRC by addressing the root causes of the conflict and restoring security and stability in our region. The government of Rwanda appreciates the crucial mediation role of the state of Qatar with the support of the United States government, which builds on the efforts of the African Union as well as the joint East African Community and SADC initiatives, and has contributed to the milestone achieved today in Doha. We all have to support continuation of progress to the conclusion. Rwanda remains committed to contributing to sustainable peace as well as economic development in the Great Lakes region. There reads the statement. Now moving on, the celebration of the 20th anniversary of Partners in Health operating the districts of Kayonza and Kirehe and Burera was marked by visits to some of the key programs the organization runs at Rwinkwavu Hospital. Attendees toured various services offered at the hospital, witnessed the progress made and took part in a tree planting ceremony in the hospital gardens in honor of the organization's founder, Dr. Paul Farmer. Nadine Karema, the Executive Director of Partners in Health Rwanda, stated that in the coming years there will be a stronger focus on bringing healthcare closer to the people and improving the hospitals they already support.
The health system that's already been resilient thanks to the great support and collaboration with the government of Rwanda, the visionary government of Rwanda. So I would say the biggest achievements that we've had is bringing models of care that we've learned from around the world and making them possible at the decentralized level in rural communities, starting with building hospitals that provide more than district level care, building the flagship hospital of Butaro and expanding it to become a level 2 teaching hospital, leveraging the also built University of Global Health Equity across the valley in Burera, and also bringing our model, our approach of working, which we call the 5 S's. The staff, training staff, bringing supplies, equipping hospitals, creating space by building infrastructure, big infrastructure projects anywhere in rural communities, because we believe that where you live should not be a barrier to the best care that you should be receiving. And then there's also the systems that we build, the training system, the mentorship systems of the health workforce. And lastly, a key differentiator for Partners in Health is what we call the social support, is bringing anything that helps overcome socioeconomic barriers that patients face so that they do not abandon their care or so that they do not get sicker. So those, I would say in brief, those are the achievements. So flagship hospitals, building health centers, building health posts in the 3 districts where we work, which are Kayonza, Kirehe, and Burera. The approaches were easy because we like saying that we are a proof of concept organization in a proof of concept country. So thanks to the visionary leadership of the government of Rwanda, it was easy to bring these new ideas, co-create them with the Ministry of Health and the Rwanda Biomedical Center, and expand them into new protocol and new policies, and advocate for patients from wherever they are from, rural community or cities, to get the best care. And that is very well aligned with our government that puts people first. So when PIH started here, the AIDS epidemic was pretty high. And the health system was being rebuilt by the government of Rwanda. There were also many cases of tuberculosis, but now there is been a lot of progress thanks to the government of Rwanda through the Ministry of Health. And while we were working here, we saw some what we call comorbidities of HIV, other diseases that you can get when you're HIV positive, which are cervical cancer, which are non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension. So we tackled those as well, along with the mental health diseases. So those are the new diseases that we've seen. And as part of what Partners in Health calls pragmatic solidarity, we saw those issues and we decided to take action and not do nothing. So that's why now in our new era, we're focusing on non-communicable diseases, decentralized care of it, the cancer care with the example of Butaro Level 2 Teaching Hospital, and mental health, which is also decentralized here in Kayonza, as well as taking care of mothers, children, and babies through our maternal and child neonatal health Center of Excellence that is in Kirehe district. So those are key diseases or key burdens of diseases that we want to tackle to make sure that every Rwandan that is in the district where we operate lives, survives, and thrives, and that those lessons are translated across the country with the support and the collaboration of not only other partners, but also the Ministry of Health that's aligning us to the vision of the country. Through our sister organization, the University of Global Health Equity, which is the education arm of Partners in Health, we are training more new doctors. And through the implementation arm that we are of Inshuti mu Buzima, we are training more breast surgeons. Right now we only have 1 breast surgeon in the country. We want to quadruple that. And we have more trainings coming to make sure that there are more specialists that are trained in the districts where we operate, starting with Burera in the Butaro Hospital, but also in Kirehe and Brimhavu hospitals.
Still on Partners in Health, the residents of Kayonza and Kirehe in the Eastern Province appreciate the significant role played by Partners in Health in Inshuti mu Buzima in improving healthcare and living conditions in those districts. The Eastern Province Governor, Prudence Rwingisa, said the achievements of Partners in Health are impressive and deserve to be expanded.
20 years anniversary since Partners in Health started working with us in Rwanda. They started in 2005. They've started here in Brimhavu providing medical services. They have expanded their services in Kirehe district as well as Burera, specifically in Butaro. They're also giving, in addition to medical services, but also teaching in some of the medical schools, providing teaching services for the nurses and the medical doctors. And here specifically in Brimhavu, the services are being offered to close to 290 people that are coming here in maternity, pediatrics, and emergency, OPD, so several services, but also there's a plan to work with the ministry health to see how they can also expand some more departments depending on the demand we are observing around here.
Partners in Health collaborates with Butaro Hospital in Burera District, Rwanda Hospital in Kayonza, and Kirehe District Hospital. The organization provides services including treatment of various diseases, support for vulnerable families, and addressing different health challenges. Tamal Zelinsky, a mother from Israel participating in the Ubumuntu Art Festival, says that the platform powerfully demonstrates how Israeli women are healing from deep trauma and depression through artistic expression. The 9-month war in Israel has severely affected civilians, particularly women who have lost husbands, brothers, and friends. This profound suffering inspired Zelinsky's project Strings Attached, a multimedia installation combining photography, video, audio recordings, body movements, and symbolic crops that tell stories of hope.
The exhibition is called Strings Attached, and it's an exhibition of Israeli artists, therapists, educators that are bringing their voice this time of the year after a year and 9 months of the tragedy that happened in Israel and the tough times that we had. And we wanted to share in an artistic way with the world, with you in Rwanda. We are very much inspired by how you handle and the memorial for the genocide. We are very much humbled to be hosted here in the Memorial Genocide Museum. And we want to also to thank the festival, the Ubuntu Festival, and the museum, because it's a very respectful stage for us to bring ourselves, to bring a message of to show how we can handle with trauma through art. If we are artists, if we are not, if we are professional artists, and also if we are not, because art is a tool for everyone to try to use it to bring comfort to ourselves, to our society, and we're very glad to be here. I think that the message is maybe how to handle strings when they are broken. What's going on, how to handle home when everything is being changed in a minute, in seconds. As you saw in the performance, it's like October 7th, 6:29, our life has changed. And it changed in so many aspects of life that we really had to find strengths, inner strengths, in order to continue, to raise our families, to raise happy children. Like in the song, it's like how to be a good mother to our children, and not just a good, but also happy, to bring happiness to life. But how can you handle things when you don't have home anymore because you have to flee, because suddenly you're being refugees in your own country, and when your family was, or someone that you love was murdered or being killed, or God forbid, there are still hostages in Gaza now. There are still 50 men that are suffocating in the tunnels. So as mothers, as women who want peace, who want to bring message of hope through art, and art is the bridge to one another. I've met here so many people from so many countries, from even if countries that don't have relationship with Israel. And it's amazing to see how when we talk one-on-one on a level of the personal level, everything is changed. Like, we are the people who needs to be in front, to bring our message, to bring our love, our connection. And music is one of the connection, and drama, and visual art, and stories, and just talking to each other. And I'm really thankful for this stage and for the place that we have here in Rwanda to come and to show it.
In its 11th edition in Rwanda, the Ubuntu Art Festival continues bringing together global youths to explore humanity through performances that both educate and remind us of our shared human values. Residents of the East African Community countries recognize the numerous benefits from promoting trade and business opportunities, as well as cooperation among the member states. In Arusha City, Tanzania, one of the major hubs for both large-scale and small-scale trade, many traders from various countries, including those in East Africa, gather to do businesses. Some of the people who frequently travel to this city point out that the partnership between the countries can bring significant advantages to citizens. Now, to more news, statistics provided by the East African Community indicates that in the year 2024, trade among member countries generated up to $15.2 billion, and this demonstrates strong potential in intra-regional trade as intra-regional trade continues to grow. However, despite this progress, analysts monitoring regional integration note that the unification process remains slow due to various challenges, and one of the key issues is that some countries have internal concerns over losing domestic economic opportunities to citizens of other states if full integration were to occur.
The East African region is united. One of the benefits I've seen is in terms of trade, and I feel that member states should ensure that as much as we have achieved the free movement of persons within the border of the greater 8 countries that are part of the East African Community, we need to also ease the trade between the countries so that we can also see a boost in terms of even our manufacturing capacity, in terms of also creating employment opportunities. Remember, this place has more than 300 million residents, and a majority of these people are young people. And one of the challenges I believe that the founders or the people who brought together the community once again 25 years ago was to also ensure that they create opportunities for the young people within this area, and trade is a big area for that. And so when they remove the tariffs or those trade inhibitions within the member states, I believe we'll be having a very strong West African community that is already doing well.
Huge opportunities for businessmen in the region, especially the East African region, if those small challenges can be overcome, in the sense that look at the movement of goods, one speed, the time. If the time is reduced of the movement of goods maybe from Dar es Salaam to Rwanda or Mombasa to Rwanda, the costs involved, the movement is low, the fuel is low, the payment, the drivers and what is low, and costs will be down. So that will be helpful to the citizens of Rwanda or Kenya or Uganda. So that's a big thing that we have learned. The issue of also our countries doing intra-trade, like Kenya importing something from Rwanda, from Uganda, or vice versa, also helps in increasing value addition and sales for our farmers, especially farmers.
Girls who became pregnant at a young age say that support helps them regain hope and rebuild their lives. These teen mothers add that this support helps them reflect on their lives, enabling them to work for even a better future for themselves and their children. We do have a report. Ineza Foundation is one of the institutions that supports teenage mothers and girls who have become pregnant early. It teaches them Rwandan cultural values, how to avoid temptations, and equips them with vocational skills to help them become self-reliant and improve their lives. These are some of the girls who gave birth while still very young. Life was so hard at first. You can imagine what it means for someone who has given birth at home at a very young age and at their parents' home. Being new at parenting is also another story. I would leave my child sometimes playing in the road, but now that has changed. Ever since I joined Ineza Foundation, my child is in school and I have enough time to take care of him. And I'm also mentally present to be a responsible mother with a future and a vision. When I got here, I renewed my hope. I am confident that when I finally give birth, I'll be able to take care of my child, whether I'm still with my parents or at my own place. These girls say that being cared for gives them the courage to fight for a better future. There is no one that can lure me into irresponsible behavior now. I've also learned to say no when I feel it's appropriate. The things I've learned from here are in general good behavior and how to handle myself so that my future self will be better than I am now. The director of Ineza Foundation, Mugwaneza Chuzo Priscilla, says that supporting teenage girls who face challenges at a young age enables them to start a new life.
Single mothers, abakobwa babyariye iwabo.
For single mothers, people who have divorced or experienced separation, the first step is to revive their hope so that they have a positive place to take care of their children from. We work together and move the journey together. After healing, I buy them tailoring machines, and a trainer is available to teach them how to sew so that they can find a source of income. They learn how to make bags, which they sell and get money to support their families and children. I started with 12 to 17 years, especially because they experience body changes. In future, I also plan to involve boys in the same age range. Family welfare advocates emphasize that instilling values in young people and helping them make informed decisions is a key pillar for building a better future for Rwandan society as a whole. Now, as business continues to grow in different parts of Kigali city, some traders say they are being inconvenienced by large trucks that park in front of shops and along offloading zones, disrupting operations and causing traffic. We do have details. Ndejimana Jean Damascene, a trader operating in Nyarugenje, says that trucks offload goods during business hours, blocking customer access to shops. Parking around here usually after mid-morning is tricky. Sometimes even pedestrians fail to get where to pass, yet they are walking. This disrupts business because these are our customers. Other traders add that this affects them because trucks sometimes block store fronts, while others lose valuable time they could have spent serving clients. The hardest time is when the trucks are being offloaded. Sometimes you could be passing by and get knocked down with the merchandise they are offloading. It would be best if they got a specific allocated space for their parking. Civil Fulgence, an entrepreneur building a storage warehouse, is calling on the city of Kigali to coordinate better with business owners. That space you saw is where I intend to build a parking space to solve the problem of lorries parking in town. I'm calling on the city of Kigali to work with me so that we can solve this problem. The spokesperson of the city of Kigali, Emma Claudine Nhirenganya, says that there are plans to construct dedicated goods storage facilities to reduce interference with other activities. Honestly speaking, Kigali market has a very particular problem that people have become so many. We have taken notice of this, be it the trucks coming to off-road or parking, and we are planning to find a solution. We plan to find a way of getting them stores somewhere else where the trucks will be offloading from. Then the traders can be getting merchandise in small portions as required. We are still having these conversations with the traders to see how we can solve this problem. The new goods warehouse will be built in Rwanda sector on the former site of Nyamirambo Market. Construction is expected to begin next month in August.
Moments. Laying hooks. Getting away. Making moves. Breakfast with family. Inyanje is always there. Whenever the occasion, whatever the moment, always ask for Inyanje.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njya muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byaragiye nanditse amateka mashya. igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye zibimamo. Bigereho.
Welcome back from that very short break. In UK, protesters have gathered in central London for a third Saturday in a row to protest the pro-Palestinian group's proscription under the anti-terrorism law, making it a crime punishable by up to 14 years in prison to support the organization. London's Metropolitan Police say they've arrested 55 people under anti-terrorism law at a demonstration in support of the banned group, and Al Jazeera has the details.
This is the third weekend that action has taken place in support of Palestine Action since the group was banned by the government. And the reason why it is so contentious to hold these types of actions is because Palestine Action has been prescribed as a terrorist organization. This follows after members of the group entered into a military airbase and damaged and spray-painted military airplanes as well. Now, there was an earlier attempt to try and postpone the prescription, but that was unsuccessful. Now, since then, there have been some 100 people who have been arrested for simply declaring their support in public. Now, this could potentially carry a jail sentence of up to 14 years in prison. In the meantime, on Monday, there is going to be an application for a judicial review to look at, to see if that ban oversteps the mark of what constitutes a terrorist organization. In the meantime, critics have said that this contains some very worrying effects for freedom of speech and the right to civil disobedience. Sonia Gallego, Al Jazeera, London.
Now, in South Korea, union leaders and citizens say the government has failed to address workers' rights, inflation and social welfare in its recent reform proposals. Protesters filled the streets demanding more inclusive policies and urgent economic relief. Al Jazeera continues.
These workers are from the Korean Confederation of Trade Unions, the same umbrella group that launched mass demonstrations in the wake of former President Yoon Suk-yeol's brief attempt to impose martial law, which subsequently led to his impeachment. Having helped bring President Lee to power, these workers now want something in return: an overhaul of the laws governing trade unions, particularly when it comes to part-time workers and collective bargaining.
The reason many people are out in the streets is that they are fighting for their right to survive and for the improvement of labour rights. I hope the President will listen more to the labour community.
For decades, Lee Jae-myung was seen as a firebrand leftist and close ally of South Korea's workers. But before the election, he rebranded himself as a conservative who is business-friendly.
Previous administrations have always implemented policies that favor large corporations and conglomerates. Even at the end of their terms, they are still moving in that direction. However, I'm hopeful that the current administration under President Lee Jae-myung will break away from this trend and pursue policies that are more worker-friendly and pro-labor.
These demonstrations pose a clear challenge to President Lee as he attempts to walk a centrist tightrope, trying to appeal to supporters of the right-wing opposition party while keeping on board his own base, which includes these workers who have made it clear that if the union's demands are not met, there will be more demonstrations and industrial action. Jack Barton, Al Jazeera, Seoul.
That was it for RTV News in English. I'm William Evans. Have a good night. Goodbye.